Picture the scariest number in the world, 8 billion. That's how many of us are alive right now. And for your entire life, you've been told that number is the problem. Too many people, not enough food, not enough water, not enough planet. You've seen the documentaries, you've heard the scientists, you've been handed the same warning since kindergarten. Humanity is multiplying out of control. But here's what nobody told you. That story is wrong. Not exaggerated, not slightly off. Completely, structurally, dangerously wrong. The real crisis isn't that humans are multiplying too fast. It's that we are running out of people. And before you click off, yes, I know what you're thinking. The population is still going up. 8 billion is still 8 billion. But in about 2 minutes, I'm going to show you a number so low, from a country you know, that it will make you question everything you thought you understood about the future of our species. Stay with me. Act 1. The myth we were sold. Let's go back to 1968. A Stanford professor named Paul Ehrlich publishes a book called The Population Bomb. His opening line? The battle to feed all of humanity is over. In the 1970s, the world will undergo famines. Hundreds of millions of people are going to starve to death. The book sells 3 million copies. It reshapes global policy. It becomes the founding document of modern environmentalism. And almost none of it came true. But the fear it created never went away. It burrowed into culture, into science funding, into government programs, into your school curriculum. In the 1950s and 60s, the average woman on Earth had 5 children. 5. That's not ancient history. Your grandmother may have grown up in that world. Today, the global average is 2.2. We dropped from 5 to 2.2 in 60 years. The fastest fertility decline in human history. And 2.2 might sound fine. It's above the danger line of 2.1. We're okay, right? Act 2. The number that changes everything. The magic number is 2.1. That's what demographers call replacement level fertility. It means every generation produces just enough children to replace the generation before it. Above 2.1, your population grows. Below 2.1, your population shrinks. Right at 2.1, you hold steady. Simple enough? Now, the global average is 2.2, barely above the line. But that global average is propped up by a few high birth regions, parts of sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. It hides what is happening almost everywhere else. Because in country after country, the number isn't 2.2. It's 1.5. It's 1.3. It's 1.1. 2025. Total fertility rate, 0.695. 0.695. Let me put that into human terms. If every generation of Taiwanese women had 0.695 children on average, which they are, then within roughly 100 years, Taiwan's population doesn't just decline. It collapses to a fraction of itself. And Taiwan is not alone. South Korea is at 0.8. Singapore is below 1.0. China, the most populous nation in human history, just recorded its first population decline in 60 years. And projections show it loses over 200 million people by 2054. By 2100, China is projected to be roughly half its current size. Half. Europe? Every single European country is below replacement. Every one. Most of them have been for decades. And this is the part that should stop you cold. By 2050, researchers project that 3/4 of all countries on Earth will not be having enough babies to sustain their populations. By 2100, 97% of countries. Act 3. Why we stopped having children. Here's a question. Do you want children? Studies show that most people in developed countries say yes. They want a family, they imagine it, they plan for it. But something keeps getting in the way. The average age of first-time mothers in the United States is now over 27. In South Korea, it's over 32. Women aren't choosing not to have children. They're choosing not yet. And then not yet becomes not now. And not now becomes maybe never. Think about what it actually costs to raise a child in a modern city. Housing. Childcare, which in many American cities runs over $2,000 a month. Healthcare. Education, the career interruption, the sleep deprivation, the social isolation, the sheer psychological weight of it. Now ask yourself, why would this be surprising? We built an entire economic system optimized for individual productivity. We reward mobility. We reward long hours. We reward the person who can relocate for a promotion, stay late, answer emails at 10 p.m. And then we are somehow shocked that people in that system are choosing not to add a screaming infant to the equation. There's also the biological dimension that almost nobody talks about. Researchers have found that sperm counts in Western men have dropped by over 50% since the 1970s. Fertility issues are rising in both men and women. Environmental factors, microplastics, endocrine disruptors, stress are almost certainly playing a role. We don't just have a cultural fertility crisis, we may have a biological one too. Act 4. The solutions that aren't working. Countries have noticed. They've been trying to fix it, and the results are not great. South Korea has spent over $200 billion over the last 2 decades trying to get people to have more babies. Tax breaks, cash bonuses, free daycare, extended parental leave. Entire government ministries dedicated to the problem. Their fertility rate went from 1.3 in 2000 to 0.72 in 2023. They spent $200 billion and the birth rate got worse. Hungary offers tax exemptions for life if you have 4 children. Japan gives cash handouts per birth. Poland pays monthly child bonuses. None of it has moved the needle in any meaningful, lasting way. And here's why. You can't pay someone into wanting a fundamentally different life. The forces driving low fertility, urban costs, career culture, shifting values, delayed relationships, digital connection replacing physical intimacy, those aren't problems you solve with a check. They're systemic, they're cultural, and we don't fully understand them yet. Some economists point to immigration as the answer. And it's true, immigration is currently the only thing keeping the populations of Canada, Australia, and the United States from declining. It buys time, but immigration doesn't solve the global problem, it just moves people around. If the whole world's birth rate is falling, there's no reserve population to draw from indefinitely. Act 5. The world on the other side. Japan. If you want to see the future of a low-fertility society, you don't need a time machine. You need a flight to Tokyo. Japan's fertility rate has been below replacement since 1974, over 50 years. Today, Japan has more people over 65 than under 15. There are more adult diapers sold in Japan each year than baby diapers. Entire villages have been abandoned, not because of disaster, not because of war, but because everyone grew old and no one came to replace them. Some towns are giving away houses for free just to attract young families. Free. And people still aren't moving there. Now multiply that by every country in East Asia and Europe simultaneously. Here's what starts to break. Pension systems. Every modern pension is built on the same assumption: there will always be more workers than retirees. When that ratio flips, and it is flipping, the math falls apart. Who pays the pensions when there are fewer workers than pensioners? Healthcare. An aging population needs more care. More hospitals, more nurses, more doctors. Who provides that care when the young population shrinks? Innovation. New ideas, new companies, new breakthroughs. These come disproportionately from the young. An old world is, historically, a slower world. Military power. Nations with shrinking young populations face a problem that money cannot easily solve. You cannot conscript people who don't exist. And there is one more thing. Something that rarely makes the headlines. When populations decline, they don't do it evenly. The poorest, most rural communities go first. Cities hollow out from the inside. The tax base shrinks. Public services contract. The communities that are left get poorer and older, while a shrinking elite concentrates in a few expensive urban centers. This is already happening in parts of rural America, Eastern Europe, and regional Japan. Act 6. The counterargument. Now, I want to be honest with you. Not everyone sees this as a catastrophe. Some serious thinkers make the following case. A smaller population might be better for the planet. Less carbon, less consumption, less strain on finite resources. Maybe the Earth actually heals. Technology might solve the labor gap. Automation, AI, robots. We may not need as many human workers in 2070 as we needed in 1970. And the doomsday predictions about demographics have been wrong before. Population science is uncertain. Birth rates could recover in ways we don't currently model. These are fair points. I'm not dismissing them. But here's what they get wrong. The environmental argument ignores that the fastest declining populations are in the world's lowest emission countries: Japan, South Korea, Italy. The highest growth populations are in sub-Saharan Africa, which contributes a fraction of global emissions. The technology argument assumes a smooth transition that has never happened in economic history. Automation creates displacement before it creates abundance. And we've been wrong before is a reason for humility, not a reason for complacency. Here's where I land on all of this. We have spent 50 years building institutions, economies, and retirement systems on the assumption that the next generation will always be bigger than this one. That assumption is ending. Not with a bang, not with a famine or a war, but slowly, quietly, in maternity wards across the developed world, in empty classrooms, in villages with no children, in pension funds doing math that no longer works. The strangest part of all of this? We did it ourselves. Not through malice, not through stupidity, but through prosperity, through education, through women gaining the freedom to choose, through the transformation of an industrial economy into a knowledge economy that was never designed around family life. We built a world optimized for the individual, and individuals, given the choice, are choosing fewer children. There's no villain in this story, and that might be the most unsettling part of all. Because if the world you built is the thing producing the outcome you fear, then fixing it isn't just a policy question. It's a question about what we actually value. What kind of world do we want to live in? And more importantly, who do we want to share it with? If this video made you think differently about something you believed before, drop in the comments. And tell me, do you want to have kids? What's actually stopping you? I read every response, and your answers might become the next video.